Yeah. So yeah, the thing with memory is that memory is not all we are. This actually invites the idea is the idea invited in this case against memory is additionally we are who we are based off of the decisions that we make. So now, how about that? Are we the amalgamation of the decisions that we make? Are we the decisions that we make? Right? It can't be memory. Memory will only take you so far. Memory will only take you so far. So, decisions. Let's talk about decisions. The long awaited. Let's talk about decisions. Decisions. Well, before decisions, how about maybe let's talk about the soul? No, I think the issue with the soul is the issue with soul is that I don't know what to say about that, honestly. Yeah, the soul. Um, I don't want to. I want to make sense to people who don't particularly subscribe to that idea, the soul, and because I don't really understand it myself. So let's say let's be simple and say if you had a different soul, you will not be the same person, right? Like let's just say that let's just say that if your soul was to be like how much of your soul can you lose? Can you afford to lose until you're a different person? Oh, ho 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 ho. The soul itself. Let us tie the idea of the soul to decision making, right? So say you have a full soul of 100%, right? It's like how many decisions can you make, for whatever reason, whether you got a brain injury or maybe you lost your memories or maybe there's something that has happened, there's some event. Well, yeah, let's say whether due to the physical or to the metaphysical, maybe brain trauma, physical brain trauma, or physical or psychological brain trauma, or it doesn't even have to be trauma. It just has to be something significant, something physical or metaphysically significant that alters the nature or nurture of your soul. Let's play around with the idea of the soul. Let's entertain the idea of the soul for you non-believers. Although although even that I don't understand it myself really, but let us play with that vague idea of the soul. Let us say how much of your soul, but I suppose you can understand the soul as let's say who you are as an individual. At your innermost, at your innermost, right? Who you are as your innermost self. How much say you're 100% soul, right? How much of your soul, and also let us make the supposition, the presupposition that that decisions impact, decisions change, are able to alter the nature or shape of your soul. Let's just say the nature of your soul, the makeup of your soul. What makes you who you are? Let us say that the more drastic decisions that you make, the more your soul shifts into something different. For the better or worse, right? Let's say that. Let's say I think decision making goes beyond the physical and the. I think decision making is a layer that goes beyond genetic makeup and memories, and everything that is encapsulated within memories. The decision making, or decisions are. I would say decisions are the amalgam of the nature of your form and the nurture of your upbringing. Right? It's like I'm ugly, and so I will behave this way. I'm timid. I will behave in a timid way because I'm ugly, or I will behave like I just don't give a fuck because I know I'm ugly and there's nothing else I can do about it. So I will act however I like. Right? It's like I'm hideous looking to the society that I live in. Right? I'm repulsive. I'm not very fair to look upon. Or I'm very handsome and I'm very lucky with the ladies. And whatever gender uh, I'm inclined to, whatever gender I fancy to have access to, in the let us be PG-13 and say in courtly matters. It's like, yeah, I'm good looking. I find, and therefore I find easy access to people. Really, even in like general interactions, it's like, right. It's like, yeah, like this guy, he's like missing teeth. Yeah, I don't want to talk to this guy. He's probably a homeless person. While the other guy, he has a very nice smile, very nice hair, right? He's got his makeup on and everything. He doesn't even need makeup. He just looks good. He has very nice eyes, right? So yeah. Man, another tangent. Another tangent. But yeah. Right? It's like the decisions that you make. Let us say, I think it makes sense to say that what the form in which you were born in, the shape and form in which you were born in, and the environment or nurture in which you were raised. Right? These are very important in decision making, in the things that impact your decisions. So let us say, there is genetic makeup, and then there's memories, and then there's decision making. Right? Everything falls under decision making. Now that you are who you are, with everything that makes you corporeal or non-corporeal, what decisions will you make? What are the decisions that you will make? So perhaps you could say, in that way, decisions are decisions. Perhaps then you could say that decisions are also what really make us who we are, right? Like if you were to zoom out, the microscope and to see it at a macrocosm, perhaps you could say it's like, it doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, right? Like it doesn't matter where you grew up, how many fingers you have, right? If you have feet, like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what really matters is the decisions that you make, and that ultimately is what defines you. So, say you've had a consistent way of living life and a consistent way of decisions, like to the point that if a person knew you, they can predict certain decisions. They can predict a bulk of the decisions that you are normally capable of, that you normally portray, that you normally carry out. Yes, that you normally carry out. So like, if you wake up at a certain time, right? Like a person's not gonna, someone who knows you, they're not gonna expect you to wake up at 6 p.m. if you've consistently been waking up at 12 p.m. I mean, no. That's actually even worse. How about, let's say, if someone has known you to wake up at 6 a.m., they're not gonna know you for someone who wakes up at 12 a.m., right? Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, yeah. So, but what if you want to be another person? For whatever reason, maybe you want to be better, and so you start making certain decisions that will alter. Now you could say, what does that have to do with the soul? Yeah, whatever. It's a fancy idea. You can throw that out if you want. I don't know what to make of it either. I don't know. But let's say, well, the soul is a very deep thing. So let's say, let's on the soul, as regards to the soul, let's say you're a good person, and you start let's say you generally consider yourself a good person. You're a law abiding citizen, and you do everything right. You're very sociable. You're very nice to people. You donate to charity. And one day something changes, and you just stop doing that, and you start making the decisions that alter the alter that romantic idea of the soul, of who you are. Maybe you think of yourself as a kind soul, and maybe you start making the decisions that aren't such, or they're not so in line with what may define a kind soul. So, what then? What then? Well, in that case, I suppose you're a different person then, right? What makes us who we are? Well, I mean, the question isn't how easy is it to change a human being. We've, it seems it's very easy to change a human being. Of course, you may need to apply a bit of trauma there. I think if you want to change someone, a radical and likely traumatic change is the fastest way to get about that. But so, like, I don't think that's really the big question. It's like, again, like, you're not the same person you were 20 years ago. Well, let's say, like, 20 years ago you were 10 years old, right? 10 years ago you were 20 years old. No, 20 years ago you were 10 years old. And now you look back at your 10 years old self. You're like 30 now, and you think, man, I'm just not the same, right? It's like, yeah, right, like, so in the first place, what makes us who we are? Uh, yeah, man, like, on the matter of decisions, right? Like, decisions that you made when you were 10 years old are probably not gonna be the same decisions that you're making at 30, right? It's just you're just so much more now, right? There's just so much more of you now, right? You're a more fully fledged human being. So, so, well, I don't think that's not the issue here, really, right? It's like, maybe there's some core decisions that you will always make, since you were 10 years old, because, like, some things are just really stay with you, right? And that's how we come to have similarities, amidst all our differences. That's how we come to have similarities. Maybe there's some things that we experienced in our life paths, at separate times, that made us come to the same inclinations, the same, maybe it's like a matter of OCD. Like, I can never, as much as I've changed as a person, I can never do this one thing different. Every time I wake up, I always feel the need to lay my bed. I have to lay my bed. It just bothers the shit out of me if I don't do it. Right? It's just gonna be on my mind, and I will just feel I will feel incomplete, and maybe my day will be ruined because I didn't lay my bed. Right? Maybe not having done that little small thing will ruin my day for the rest of it, for the rest of the time. So, yeah, what makes us who we are? Well, it's a lot of things.